Hello, friends. Welcome to day 2 of Chats with Roger. I don't know, I'm coming up with something to call this. A big shout out and a thank you to everyone who commented yesterday and liked the video. Thank you so much for your support and your kind words. Big shout out to Brian Mulvaney. Yeah, surreal, isn't it? Now, a little bit about Mr. Mulvaney is I don't remember us having too many classes together once we got to high school, but it's just kind of interesting how we all kind of get back together in these days of social media, so that's kind of cool. As I was out on the bus this morning, I was thinking, as I'm left with doing, that I was going to do one thing today, but then I changed my mind, and changed my mind, and changed my mind. And it reminded me of a priest that I knew back in the 90s named Jerry Stanley. Jerry was appointed by Archbishop Murphy to be the chair of the Archdiocesan Catholic Gay and Lesbian Ministry here for the Archdiocese of Seattle. And he gave these great homilies / sermons, for those of you more familiar with that term rather than homily. And I said to him one day, I just love your homilies. I mean, the people at your parish must just absolutely love them. He goes, well, this isn't what I talked about at all this morning. I'm like, huh? And he says, I do my homilies early in the week or midweek. I go and I give them Saturday night at Saturday night Mass. And I'm going, who wrote this? This is just awful. I don't believe this. And he changes it all for the early morning Mass the next morning. And then he does that, and he's like, oh, this is just awful. And he does yet another one again for the late morning Mass. So by the time he would make it to ours in the evening on those weeks that he did it, he'd be dialed in. So we'll see if I'm dialed in today like Jerry or not. Last I heard, he had left the priesthood in the late 90s and eventually ended up back in Northern California where her family was. So hope he's doing well if he's still on the planet with us. What I wanted to talk about real quick today and just give you some context on is this thing called the bus. I started driving for Metro in June of 2015. And the reason for that was I needed health insurance. I'd had cornea transplants in both eyes back in 2000, 2001. And all of a sudden in November 2014, I'm noticing I can't see anything to read. I just can't see. So I went to the eye doctor and he goes, well, your transplants need to be redone. That means surgery. And he goes, do you have health insurance? I go, well, no, I'm paying for this visit out of my pocket. He goes, oh, okay. Well, I go, well, I've got some ideas I'm thinking of. And one of those had been, I could go be a part-time bus driver for the time being. And Metro has great benefits, they said. And they do. And so I thought, let's do this. And that's what I did. And we're coming up on 5 years on June 19th. How I got to this point was after college in 1984, I went to work for a consumer finance company, spent 7 or 8 years, way too long there, got in the mortgage business, then got my real estate license, stayed with that, and there's stories about that as well too, which will come up as we go along here. Stayed with that up until about the early 2010s, and I just started burning out big time. I just couldn't do it anymore. In the meantime, my mom had developed Alzheimer's. We finally, I say finally, started dealing with it officially in 2007. And she ended up passing away near the end of 2011. And that was all one thing. And then there's some aftermath after that. I'm just going to leave it at that, which just was like, after having grown up and put up with all that stuff, and then it was still going on after she died, and then, things kind of like you settle down. And I'm just like, I just can't do this anymore. And so there comes the bus. I think it's kind of funny. I can't see, and I'm going and driving a bus. Don't you love that? I can see things I just couldn't see to read. So anyhow, that's how the bus happened. It's not who I'm supposed to be. It's not who I'm supposed to be. The universe has sent me some messages along the way saying, you have stuff you need to be doing and you're not doing it. Not this past winter, but the winter before, severe back pain from being, bounce, 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 and row, 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 shake, shake, shake. Man, there were days I couldn't walk. And there's a good percentage of people who end up with back problems working and doing that, excuse me. And, yeah. Then I had to have the surgery redone. It was done in 2016, so a year after I started Metro. Then it had to be redone, and I redid it right at Thanksgiving this past year, so I could have the holidays off. It was a great plan. I know how to work a system. And so now we're in the middle of this crisis. And I'm grateful that I have this job, paycheck's still coming in, and I have health insurance. But I know there are greater things out there for me, and I'm headed that direction. Speaking of heading that direction, I've got a sign in at work in about an hour. It's time for me to go. Thanks again for watching. My intent is to be doing these live around 1 o'clock. Don't ask me when. It's my intention. Maybe I'll try that next week. We'll see what happens. But until tomorrow, have a great day. Peace, friends.